All right, Council, I'll call to order the regular meeting of the Chisholm City Council for December 8th, 2021. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, anyone watching at home. Margaret, could you take a roll call, please?
Councillor Halverson.
Present.
Councillor Michala-Raha.
Present.
Councillor Fountain.
Here.
Councillor Lance.
Here.
Councillor Vaki.
Here.
Mayor Champa.
Here. Adopt the agenda. Council, Margaret sent out just a couple of small changes on the 7th, about 1 o'clock. There's some corrections in the consent agenda, but we'll take them up at that point. A few more candidates under 7A1, and then the Bridge of Peace memo from Stephanie. We'll add that under her as a number 7th item. Also, Eileen will be leaving the meeting early tonight, so Stephanie will be taking her items. So, Council, Stephanie, anything else I missed there, or Margaret?
Yes, Mayor. The working session, you were going to change that to schedule a special meeting.
Yeah, and I'll leave that up to the council. It is an agenda item already. Well, and they got that memo as well today.
Very good. Thank you.
Council motion to adopt the agenda with the basically the 3 changes.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Further discussion? Margaret?
Councillor Halverson.
Aye.
Councillor Michala-Raha.
Aye.
Councillor Fountain.
Aye.
Councillor Lance.
Aye.
Councillor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Here, the agenda is adopted. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, reports. Council reports. Oh, I'll go in the order I wrote them down. We'll start with Adam tonight. Good evening, Adam. Report tonight.
Good evening. No formal report. Just like to thank the firefighters that came out to help with the Holly Jolly, the event that the Kiwanis Club put on down at the Von Stephens Road. Seemed to be a very well attended event and another great thing to do in the city of Chisholm. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Adam. April report tonight. Watch the road. Good evening.
Good morning. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and folks at home. I do not have a formal report tonight. Thank you.
All right, thank you, April. Drive safe. Travis, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. I just have one thing, and that is a request or plea, or however you want to word it, to the community and the citizens of Chisholm, that if we are discussing something or if we are making a decision, to please take the time to reach out to one of the council people or the mayor or the administrator to get the information that you see. Obviously, not everything you read on Facebook is true. And so if you would kindly reach out to one of us to get that information, it really would be beneficial. You know, I was told this tonight that I already voted no for a hotel at MDC. So please take the time to reach out to us. We're here to help. We're here for the city. Please reach out. That is all I have.
Thank you, Travis. I just realized I skipped over our public participation. Let's finish with the council reports, and then we'll go back to Gabby and Julia so we don't break it up. Cheyenne, report tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
No report.
Thank you. Marty, report tonight. Good evening.
Good evening. Attended a Redhead event planning meeting last night, and that's all I have for a report. Thank you.
Thank you, Marty. Just a short report for me. I just, the volunteers and our staff that worked on that light up the city is just an amazing thing. I mean, it's so beautiful. You guys did a great job. Can't say enough about it. If I could critique it a little bit, I think I don't know, why we picked the day we do or whatever. It might be because it works the best or whatever, but I think things like that on a Friday or Saturday would work tons better, but just because everybody's got to go to school the next day or work or whatever. So, but yeah, beautiful event again. I got out again and nice. It's really worked good. So I thank Katie and everybody else involved there. So, all right, so let's jump back. We have Julia Randall and Gabby Voller on with us again tonight with the SC group. As you know, later on in the meeting council, we're going to be looking to approve the comprehensive plan that Julia and Gabby worked on with the city and our group for quite a while now. And I think what they're going to do tonight during this little presentation is bring forward the bigger points. And, and then obviously we have to make that final decision on that overlay too that we discussed the other night. So with that said, I'll just welcome Julia and Gabby. Good evening, both of you.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hello.
thanks so much for having us again.
So what we were planning on doing we coordinated with Stephanie on Monday was to do a brief overview presentation. I know you guys have a lot on your agenda. Are you going to vote right after that, or where is the voting in your agenda? Is it later on in the evening?
Yeah, it's almost at the end. So.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that if you have any questions for us, that we do that now. And then we might log off for the voting and Stephanie can just tell us how it all went down.
Okay, good.
Does that work?
Yep, I think
Okay.
that does for me.
Great. So I have a short presentation. And do I have screen sharing capability?
Maybe I'll make you host just before you leave if you want to just.
I think I can share screen. No, it says host disabled. You do need to make me host.
Yeah,
Just make sure before you log off, you give us our meeting back.
Okay.
Or we all go away with you.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm actually going to let Julia do most of the talking, but I'll just say thanks again for, it was great working with your community over the last 9 months, and we really enjoyed getting to know your community and many of you on this call. So hopefully, we've come to some consensus about the main ideas contained in the plan, especially after last week's really productive work session. And I'm going to let Julia present the main ideas and the process of what we went through to create your new comprehensive plan.
All right, thanks, Gabby. So first, I'll just give an overview of our approach for this project. So we began with a assessment of Chisholm's current comprehensive plan, which was created in 2012, and conducted some conversations with various stakeholders in the community to get a picture of Chisholm's strengths and its needs for the future. Then we developed some recommendations based on those findings. And because our firm has a focus in outdoor recreation, we did develop a recreation strategy specifically for Chisholm that is included in the plan. And then finally, we highlighted areas for public investment and identified a few paths to implementation to help the city achieve some of its primary goals related to downtown revitalization, growing the recreation economy, and increasing the housing supply, among other things. So I'll just give a brief overview of the public engagement that we did during this planning process. The first thing that we did was create a project website where people could learn about the project. And then, as I mentioned, we held some stakeholder conversations with 17 individuals, some of whom are on this call. And then we also held 2 public meetings. One was a recreation and tourism roundtable that brought together people interested in recreation and tourism who were both residents of Chisholm and also experts who have worked in Chisholm on recreation projects. And then we also held a visioning meeting that was open to the public. And with both of those meetings, we conducted live online polling, which when you see screenshots of, pictures of polling in the plan document, those are typically from those meetings and also from our advisory committee meetings. We had a plan advisory committee that advised our process from start to finish. We had several meetings with them over the course of this project. And one of those was in person in July when we conducted a site visit. So we're grateful to the input that we received from those members of that committee. So I won't read this whole vision statement because that would take a little while, but this is the plan vision statement that we arrived at. And it reflects, Chisholm's strength as a community today, but also areas in which we heard that the city would like to grow, building out the downtown and increasing shopping and dining opportunities, and also growing tourism in the community. So the plan, a comprehensive plan, touches on all aspects of a community's assets and goals and operations. So it begins with an overview of this plan, and then we offer recommendations on downtown revitalization, housing and land use, recreation and tourism, transportation, utilities and public works, and mining and natural resources. And then the plan concludes with an implementation chapter that discusses some of the funding opportunities that would enable some of these projects, and also speaks to the prioritization of different projects, identifying a timeline for which ones would be most strategic to do first. And then I just wanted to note that the appendices to the final plan will include summaries of the engagement efforts that I mentioned earlier, like the stakeholder conversations and summaries of the 2 public meetings that we held. So that covers our overview of our process. If there are any questions about the plan, we'd be happy to answer them now.
Do you guys want to go over the proposed language changes after the work session? We sent Stephanie to include in your packets a highlighted chapter, or a chapter that included a couple sections that were highlighted that basically tried to come to consensus after listening to you all discuss the overlay districts last week. Would that be helpful?
I think it would be, but let me just add something. So we have our truth and taxation at 6:01. Okay. So we'll have to get through this because at 6:01, you're going to be waiting about a half hour to finish if we don't. So, but I think it's important because if we have questions about that, the gist of that is, what do we want to do with these overlays? I'll give you my opinion. There were some areas that we thought they should be mining because that's what's really going on there. No issue with me with that. As far as the overlay for the recreation tourism area over there, I just want to make sure that our planning and zoning has a final say so on everything. And somebody mentioned the grandfathering in current uses, so changes of uses would also have to come to our planning and zoning. So, So that's my opinion on it. Whoever's got a radio on or whatever, put your, thank you. So that's all I have on that.
Okay, great. Well, I can go through some of that language. I believe we have that version handy.
Council, I think, yeah, page 161 is where some of it is there.
Yeah, so there are a couple sections.
Want me to
that are
share my screen again?
highlighted. I think that'd be good.
Okay. So this is the updated housing and land use chapter with the sections highlighted that we changed.
Yeah, I would just go to that feedback process summary
Here?
further down.
Okay. Okay.
Right there. Yeah, so this is a summary of what we discussed last week. And if you scroll down further, Gabby. So I've identified a few points of consensus here. And in terms of what you just mentioned, Mr. Mayor, about the Planning Commission, they're mentioned here. You know, their role would be to determine the precise, you know, land uses and development conditions that, you know, the city would want for any recreation overlays. So that would be their responsibility. And then in terms of, so this is a summary of feedback and of our working session. Further down is the recommendation. Yep. So this is a description of these overlay districts. Some of this language is the same. I just highlighted any of the sections that would be relevant to this conversation. If you continue down. Yep. So here is another avenue here. By amending the city code to allow recreation and tourism uses as special uses or conditional uses in mining areas, that, you know, would allow the city to retain an additional level of control and specificity over the uses in those areas.
I think it's an important reminder that it being in the plan, you still have to act on this recommendation. So you still, just because it's in the plan doesn't mean it's an automatic thing. The Planning Commission and City Council would still have to actively decide to do this or not.
Yeah, and the way
if you change your mind in a month or two, it's not a big deal.
Right. The way this is phrased is consider, you know, so understanding this will continue to be a conversation.
Good.
Are
Looks like
those?
we got the bases covered from my side of the desk.
Sorry, this is probably making you dizzy as I scroll through. There was that one other section up here. I just want to make sure this is under the primary issues and concerns and needing to determine a set of acceptable intermediate uses in Redhead. Just knowing that this is an ongoing conversation and that, you know, this group needs to keep talking about what's appropriate there and what's not appropriate there and how to handle that process accordingly.
Yep.
So sorry, Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I hop in?
Oh, go ahead. We, like I said, we got about 9 minutes, so let's, we'll try to wrap it up.
So by reading this, what I'm seeing is that any development in that area, should we make it a tourist or recreation and tourist overlay district, would be that it would come via a special use or a conditional use permit. Mandy, is that what you were recommending?
Yes, Councillor Baki, that's what I would recommend. The Planning Commission would have full control on what actually goes into that overlay use district upon a conditional use permit process. It's a public hearing and all adjoining landowners would be notified of the public hearing.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. That's all I have.
Anybody else, Council?
Like
Maybe
this,
I got a question. Oh, go ahead, Adam. Was that Adam? Go
yeah,
ahead.
you have a lot of the same concerns and they're all covered in there. So thank you very much.
Marty, did you want to chime in? Look, you had your mic off for a
Yeah, I guess, have we seen all these appendices? I don't know, I'm going by memory here, but I don't remember seeing the appendices before. Maybe they were issued out.
Yeah, no, those will be included in the final document. These were draft chapters.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen the appendices though formally.
Yeah,
so
no, they're not included.
So it's kind of hard to make a final vote on an incomplete plan if we haven't reviewed the entire plan. To me, it's still draft. If we haven't had a chance to review the entire document, it's not fair to try to make us vote on a document we don't have in completion here. So to me, it's still draft.
Isn't everything that they went through, it's in the one we have in our packet, isn't it?
I don't know. Are there appendices in this thing? I don't.
There are no appendices included in those chapters.
So yeah.
But those do not contain any recommendations. They're summaries of meetings.
That's not the point. The point is we don't have a complete document. We have not reviewed a complete final draft document at this point. If you're going to be adding to the document, I want to see the document in full, complete form before voting on it. It's we've had plenty of time, so to throw it on here at the last minute is not acceptable to me. Whether they're important or not, that's not the point. The point is we don't have a complete document. And one other comment. Every time I've read through this, the introduction is at the end of the document, which I don't think that's the intent either, is it? Maybe that's just the way it got scanned and sent, but every time I've read through this thing, the introduction is at the very end. Doesn't make sense. So to me, I don't know. I think we're pushing this a little too quickly. I think we need one more. Approve it at the next meeting when we've had a chance to review the full document.
Yeah, we can certainly have that discussion, Marty, when we discuss the item later on. So, good points. Anything else for the gals while they're with us? Because it's quite a way down the agenda, so they're not going to stick around. All right. Julia, Gabby, thank you for all the hard work. Stephanie will get back with you and let you know how things turn out tonight, or if we need something done a little different.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to make me host, Gabby, before you go.
Oh, okay. How do I do that?
You just go to my screen and click on the little 3 dots in the corner. And it'll say make host.
I don't see a 3 dots to do that.
So if you go to my, like where, this should be in the upper right-hand corner.
It's just view. Oh, in my window.
Like in my, like where my.
Oh, okay, so,
Yeah, if you just put your cursor on top of her face, it'll pull up 3 little dots up in the corner of her
No, I
face.
see that, but it doesn't say, can I move you? Oh, make you the host. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Got it.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, bye everybody.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so before we move on with reports, we have about 5 minutes. I just want to, I want to ask Attorney Lindsay a quick question. Brian, if you could answer for me, please. So at 6:01, we're going to, so when I recess to truth and taxation, I just call it recess. We're good. I don't need votes or anything, right?
Correct. We can just recess the meeting.
And then I call to order the truth and taxation. By roll call to order, we go through the truth and taxation, and I get a real motion to adjourn the truth and taxation, and then I just reconvene the regular meeting, and we're good to go. And we
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you, Brian. Okay, so let's move on to our reports here tonight, Council. Ambulance Director Jess, good evening. Report tonight.
Ooh, sorry. Okay, sorry. My camera was slow popping up. Get out of the way. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Not a whole lot to update because I have some stuff on the agenda coming up. We're just continuing to interview. The job posting is up and remains open. Taking applications in as they come, and if they're qualified, extending the interviews and continuing that process. So continue to see more applicants recommended for hire. And just working on protocols. I've had a 2-hour meeting with our medical direction group today, working on some different things. So yeah, things are moving forward and awesome.
Good. Can't say anything for Jess. Thank you, Jess. Police Chief Byrne, report tonight. Good evening.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Can't say anything for the chief. Police Chief, excuse me. All right, moving on. Boy, I'm just completely goofing this up tonight, ain't I? I can't follow an agenda. Fire Chief, report tonight, Chris. Good evening.
Just a couple quick things, Mayor. Good evening, Council. We had a training last weekend with French Fire, Ice Water Rescue. We had a few of our members go up there and do some good training up there. And we are now back at full capacity with our rigs. We went down and got Rescue 1 today, and it looks like it's brand new. So thanks to Larry again and all his help getting that going with everything. And hopefully in a couple months, we got our pump in the back of it and we'll be good to go. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Chris. Council, anything for the Fire Chief? All right, moving on. Building official. Mandy, report tonight.
Good evening, Mayor. No report.
Council, anything for Mandy? Moving on, thank you. Engineer, Jim, report tonight.
No report tonight, Mayor. Happy to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
Council, anything for Jim? All right. Thank you, Jim. Public Works, Larry, you got 2 minutes.
Evening, everyone. I can be quick. We fought through that 15-inch snowstorm. That was officially 15-inch recorded at the weather station there in Duluth. So thanks for all the help and support where we got it. And then, and we're just starting to haul snow away. So on those businesses, 1 block offs, and then we'll work down towards the churches and all that, you know, as we work outward. And then we got, we're working on a water main break right now up in Lakeview, or no, I'm sorry, not Lakeview, up in Windy Hills. So we'll be digging on that in the morning. Other than that, I think that's all we need for tonight. So anything from you, I'm happy to. All right.
Don't say anything for Larry. Larry, just a comment. I get a lot of people say, geez, I can't believe the city crew is working on Sunday and this and that. And my answer is always, you know, we got to do what we got to do. There's, you know, when it snows, there's a specific time when you really need to be out there. You got to kind of let it subside, but then you got to go get it done. Or
that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
It don't matter if that's Monday at noon or Sunday at midnight. You got to do it when it's the right time. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, good. Thank you, Larry. So, Council, I'm going to just call a recess and wait for my clock to change to 6:01, and then we'll call to order this Truth and Taxation hearing. Yeah, it just turned over. So I'll call to order the Truth and Taxation hearing. Stephanie's going to give us a little bit of an overview of what our budget and levy for the people at home watching. And so I'll just turn it over to her. Good evening, Eileen.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Stephanie, can you make me the host, please? Thank you.
You should be host now, Eileen.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, bear with me. I want to make sure you can hear my video when I play it. There's a option here for me to do that. Stephanie, do you know where that is? I forget where it is. You know what I'm saying? How you activate the sound when you play a video?
I'm not sure.
Eileen, when you are clicking on share or start video, is there an option there to that says share my computer audio?
Let's see. Is it video?
It's usually a checkbox down on the bottom. Like when you go and when you click share screen, in one of those boxes along the bottom, there should be a checkbox that says share my computer audio.
Under share screen?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no, there isn't. Okay.
Do you have to try to share the video first, Eileen? You know, we're still seeing just your picture, so maybe you have to start it before you can.
Well, it's just the audio. I apologize. Looks like Jess is coming over to help me. I know there's a setting. Bear with me. Thank you.
I'm actually at home, Eileen. Sorry.
Must be Stephanie walking over. Bear with us. Fun part about Zoom, you can't test some of this stuff ahead of time.
Mayor, we're just going to go with it. I'll just turn on my speakers. I apologize.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
We've seen your video there for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I don't have it open yet. I apologize. Here we go. Okay. Come on. Okay. Okay. All right, you see that? Does everyone see my menu there?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Here we go. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Chisholm 2022 budget presentation. My name is Eileen Zoll, and I will be presenting tonight's budget information. So let's get started. All righty. Did everyone hear that introduction?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, what to expect tonight? You, the public, are attending tonight's Zoom meeting to voice your concerns, to ask questions, to engage with City Council, and to become more informed citizens. On tonight's agenda, we will first be taking a look at the truth in taxation information. Property taxes will come next. Then the general fund revenue and expenses and budget summary. Then we'll take a look at the proposed city levy, address any questions and provide answers, and then conclude tonight's presentation. There's a nice little picture I wanted to share that I found online. Okay, truth in taxation. So the city is required to hold a truth in taxation hearing to allow for public comment before the adoption of the final budget and certification of the final levy. It begins after 6 p.m. and provides information about the fiscal year 2022 budget and proposed property tax. It discusses the revenues and expenses and provides the platform for public comment and questions. Then certification of the final levy will take place at the next council meeting. Okay, on to property taxes and levy. The city levy is used to calculate property taxes, which will be used to fund department costs. This levy consists of the general fund levy and the debt service levy, which is comprised of 2011 bonds and 2015 refinancing of 2007 bonds for various street improvements. We will be taking a look at some property tax examples, which will show the proposed levy percentage later in this presentation. So stay tuned. Okay, on to the general fund revenues by source. Revenues are listed in descending order according to their dollar amount and percentage of total. Local government aid and property taxes are the top two revenue sources and come from the state of Arizona. I apologize, I clicked too soon. Start that over. Okay. Here's a different perspective of this information in the form of a pie chart. As you can see, the majority of our revenue source is assets, grants, and other. Okay, here's a look at the general fund expenditures. Expenditures are also listed in descending order by dollar amount and the percentage of total. Public safety includes the police, ambulance services, fire, emergency management, and animal control departments, and represents the biggest portion of the city's expense budget at $2.874 million approximately. I apologize. I retract that. I had forgotten about the permanent improvement portion, which comprises $10,250,000. I will provide some detail as to what comprises that particular expenditure category in detail. Okay, so what does the levy help pay for? Well, it pays for providing services to our community. We have some wonderful pictures here of all the services that we provide, and it provides services to all citizens of and visitors to the city of Chisholm. There's a little delay in that video. I apologize. Here it comes. It's coming. There we go. Awesome. I like that winter picture of the miner. I thought it was very nice. Okay, let's take a look at the budget summary. So the budget summary provides a comparison of 2021 and 2022 budget amounts for both revenue and expenses in the tables displayed. The notable changes in revenue are the assessments, grants, other revenue category, which shows a 1,703.95% increase from 2021. This is due to the estimated grants and outside funding we are projecting at 7.9 million. Another change is in the rents, fees, services category at an increase of 187.14% compared to 2021. This is because this revenue source incorporates the projected ambulance service revenues of $550,000. Some notable changes in expenses are the permanent improvement fund category at 1,093.50%, which is due to the public safety building projected costs. The buildings category increased by 75.38% as a result of the projected costs for a new roof and doors. Here is a snapshot of the general fund expense budget summary showing the first half of city departments, beginning with the mayor and city council department, all the way through the summer youth department. And on the next page, you see the second half of city departments ending with other financing uses. All right, next here we have displayed the totals of expenditures and revenues, which net to an excess of $15,181.04. And with the inclusion of improvements and projects, the amount needed from savings will be $2.315 million approximately. And here we see the detailed projections of improvements and projects, the estimated grants and outside funding with a net total of $2,331,107. Sorry, $2,331,107. Okay, on to capital expenditures. Here we represent 2022 capital expenditures and investments for all departments over $10,000. So the sand and salt storage building and the replaced brick cutouts are part of the street department. The tennis basketball courts is part of the playgrounds department. The new roof and doors is represented in the general government buildings department budget. Windows comes from the field house. Enclosed trailer and tools is in the parks department. Tuck Point project is in the library department, and the downtown St. Louis County building is in the economic development department. All righty, on to the meat and potatoes of this presentation, the proposed city levy. Oh my gosh, I apologize. Here we go. Okay, in September of this year, City Council approved a proposed levy of 10%. The budget revenue increase by each percentage is $19,035.69. And the revenue produced by a 10% levy will be $190,357. This bar chart shows how the levy has progressed from 2016 to 2022. Bond debt is represented in blue and general fund levy is represented in the wood grain color. Okay, some samples of property taxes at the 10% levy. So here we do a comparison of 2021 to 2022, and we look at the assessed market values. As you can see, there are no changes to the first three properties listed, and very minimal changes on the remaining five. Note the proposed taxes on the first three have decreased somewhat, and the last five properties listed have increased minimally. So it's a really good representation of and quite a small expectation of increases to property taxes. So it was very different to last year's levy presentation. Okay. All right, we have arrived at the question and answer segment of this presentation. And as of the time of this presentation, there were no email or telephone requests to address property tax issues. Anyone have any questions?
Sorry. Council questions on Eileen's presentation?
No question, but thank you, Eileen. This was really, really fantastic. I think we should share this on our Facebook sites and that for people to watch also. Very good information.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you very much.
Council, if there's nothing else, we'll have Eileen give Stephanie back her administratorship, and then we can adjourn the. We don't have any public participation, so we can adjourn the Truth and Taxation meeting. I'd look for that motion.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting, Truth and Taxation.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? Thank you, Eileen. Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, Truth and Taxation is adjourned at 6:18. I will reconvene the regular council meeting, continue on with reports. Rec Director Tammy, excuse me, Tammy, good evening. Report tonight.
Good evening, Mayor. Just a quick report. Due to the lack of rec board members, we only have 3 active members right now, and one has not been able to attend meetings due to a family, something with his family. So I just wanted to let the council know why minutes aren't coming across. It's just, I just haven't been able to form a quorum. But that's it, unless you have any questions of me.
Council, anything for Tammy? Thank you, Tammy. Library, Katie, good evening. Report tonight.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Mayor Champa already touched base on this, but just wanted to mention that we had the Bringing Light to Chisholm event last week. That went very well, and just to thank you and a shout out to all the volunteers that helped make that happen. I've got a library board meeting next Tuesday at 5:30, and by the end of the year, we're going to have 3 open positions for that board. So if there's anybody at home that is looking to or is interested in getting involved in the library, please feel free to reach out to me and we can have a further conversation. We'd love to have you guys apply.
Thank you, Katie. Anything for the library? Council? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Katie. City Attorney, good evening. Report tonight, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. No formal report, but I am happy to answer any questions the council may have.
Council, anything for the attorney? Moving on. Eileen's still on with us. Eileen, you got a report tonight on the clerk part. Good evening.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have anything to report or share. Thank you.
Thank you. Council, anything for Eileen? All right, moving on. Stephanie, report tonight. City Administrator. Steph mentioned the boards and commissions. I forgot to do it.
Sure.
And if you want to revert back to me, feel free. I got the sheet in front of me.
Mayors and members of the council, I do have a short report here. Matt Roy, who will be renting the space downstairs with the group with the film industry, he is tentatively pushing that date out till January 1st. They did change their name, so we will have a revision to that contract coming on December 22nd. But the anticipated moving date is January 1st. The St. Louis County Fairgrounds has moved, is in the process of moving in to the office downstairs also. So that's kind of a wrap with that. We did hold the Redhead events meeting last night. We're looking at having a Fat Tire Revive February 26th to coincide with the Polar Bear Days. So there's more to come with that. Mayor, I don't have the sheet in front of me. If you can list where we are with boards and commissions, please.
All right, so hopefully this is all of them. Margaret just sent this out the other day, but so we're posted for positions on boards and commissions. Let me just go through the list of what we have. Central Line Range Sanitary Sewer District, we have one position. It's a 3-year term. Economic Development Authority, one position. It's a 6-year term. Housing Redevelopment Authority, one position, 5-year term. Library Board, 3 positions, 2 and 3-year terms. Just a little bit on that. We're trying to stagger them a little bit so we don't have everybody expire at one time. So that's what we're trying to do there. That's why they're different term lengths. Planning Commission, 2 positions, 3-year term. Police Commission, 1 position, a 3-year term. Rec Board, 2 positions. Full term until February 2023. I'm not sure what that means. Obviously, we have some partial terms there, but you normally get reappointed if you get on there. So, and then the St. Louis County Board, 1 position for 1-year term. I think that's everything. Anything else, Stephanie? Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Council, anything for Stephanie before we move on that you thinking about? All right, that concludes our reports. Let's move on. Consent agenda, that's your list of bills. Communications, we have none tonight. Minutes of the previous city council meeting. The November 16th, 2021 working session and November 22nd, 2021 joint working session with school board. The November 24th, 2021 regular meeting, which has the corrections in it in your email. There were some typos, so take a look at them. November 30th, 2021 working session, November 30th, 2021 special meeting, payroll and overtime. Looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda with the 2 corrections in the wording that we were emailed earlier this week, Council.
Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Second for that.
Second, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Any other corrections, concerns, comments?
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Marty.
One comment that I think should be reviewed on page 6 of the packet under regular meeting, November 24th. Under discussion of city employee eligibility for on-call casual seasonal labor. My recollection is that the example provided by the League of Minnesota Cities was for police and fire. It did not specifically address EMT. And I'm just thinking that we should probably reflect that in the minutes. Just check to make sure that's accurate, but that's my only comment.
Marty, we'll make sure we reflect that however we need to there. I'm not sure I completely followed because there's a lot to read there, but I do recall the conversation that it does not include everybody, that it was just police and fire. So
that was my recollection of that was the League of Minnesota Cities example, was for police and fire.
Okay, no other discussion, Council? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikuláraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. All right, get on to the meeting. Jess, EMT hiring committee recommendations, and then the updated, that the council had, emailed with regard to additional people, but I'll let you go.
Sorry. Excuse me. Yes, so we have been conducting our interviews and have the 6 names on the recommendation for hire list in the packet, and we're just asking for the council's approval to hire those 6 individuals.
Council Jess is looking for motion to hire the 6 individuals listed, that we, the 3 that we have in our packet, but there were 6, Dylan Anderson, Ricky Lee Nash, Lloyd Show, Ashley Johnson, Jedediah Hollowa, and Gary Milton. So I'll be looking for motion to move forward with those hiring them and, start with their training.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Second for that?
Or
Thank you, Travis. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Helmerson,
Aye.
Counselor Mickleraha. Counselor Fountain,
Aye.
Counselor Lance,
Aye.
Counselor Baki,
I
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Jess, your next item, EMT tuition reimbursement policy and agreement.
Yes, I'm just asking council to approve the attached policy and agreement for tuition assistance. I think it's a powerful recruiting tool in addition to being able to help our personnel and help grow them. This was drafted up by the city attorney. And if anybody has any questions on that, I'm happy to answer them.
Jess, is this in your budget you brought forward for 2022 reflected for the most part in this policy?
It is, and there is also EMSRB also has a program set up to be able to help reimburse some of those costs. I believe it's on a 2-year cycle, if memory serves. I may be incorrect on that, but we would be able to recoup some of that money as well. But it is reflected in my budget.
Okay. Council Jess is looking for a motion to accept this policy, approve this policy for reimbursement for training our EMTs and EMRs.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Second for that?
Second, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion?
good contract, Jess. I like the 2-year commitment. I think that's a good tool. I think it's short enough to where people want to, move forward. They can, but long enough to where it holds them in a spot for us to help us. So, good job.
Thank you.
Margaret?
Counselor Helmerson.
Aye.
Counselor Mickleraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Abstain.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. That motion carries with Counselor Lance abstaining. All right, next item, EMS hepatitis B vaccination and waiver policy, Jess.
Yeah, per OSHA, employers that have employees that have a reasonable expectation for occupational exposure to bloodborne pathogens, hepatitis B being one of the major ones, are actually required to offer hepatitis B vaccination to those personnel. So this is a waiver, and I included in the packet some information on that from OSHA themselves. But this is a way for us to be able to offer that, and they can either provide us proof of previous vaccinations, so they don't have to go through it again. We will get them in and get them counseling before they start it, and they can start the series, or they have the option of waiving that vaccination series after consulting with a physician, which we anticipate that occurring during their onboarding physical. And much as, excuse me, the policy also states if they change their minds down the line, we will still offer them that hepatitis B vaccination. So it's the waiver. Yes, on the back of page 20, it looks like. And I do apologize, your guys' copy has a misspelling on it. I have since corrected the spelling on of hepatitis at the top there. But Yes, that it is the waiver and the declination that employees understand that we're offering it. They are declining at this point in time if that's the course that they choose, and they can always change their mind. So I'm asking for approval on that.
So Jess, you're looking for approval on the hepatitis B vaccination and waiver policy and the declination policy, both.
Correct.
Okay. Council, can I get a motion to move forward with that?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Travis. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
And
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, motion passes with Counselor Lance abstaining. All right, last item under just the lad tech scheduling software or scheduling and stuff. Go ahead, Jess.
Yes, I'm just asking for council's approval for us to sign that the subscription agreement for that scheduling software. It is what the current ambulance service uses. It is software that I am familiar with. It will allow people to sign up from anywhere that has an internet connection, and just really, it's a very robust platform that I'll be able to maintain various records on as well. Oh, and I apologize. The contract that's attached did have Chisholm Ambulance. I did have them correct that to City of Chisholm Ambulance, just to differentiate between the two, since the current service does use that. The service actually we can start using it now if we want to, despite what the billing on there says. And the corrected subscription service is there waiting to be signed if approved.
Okay, Council, Jess is looking for a motion to sign this agreement, start that subscription for their scheduling software.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis. Second?
Second, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance. Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jess. We'll move on to Vern's item. Minnesota Criminal Justice Data Communications Network Agreements and Resolution number 1221-96. Vern?
Yeah, just, Mr. Mayor, just basically a housekeeping item. This has to be signed in resolution from time to time to keep us using their services.
Vern, what just for the people listening at home, what does it, what does it do for you?
That gives us access to all the BCA and FBI files, all the things that we do through computers, license plate DVS data and services through computers for background checks and criminal history and stuff that we can run through. Everything runs through the BCA ports, even to get to the FBI files. So they're the secure port that it runs through.
What? Give me 1 second. Council looking for a motion to adopt. I don't know if I have to adopt resolution 1221-96 is what we're doing, right? Is it in here? I don't know that I see it here.
I don't have a resolution in my packet. I just have the agreement.
Are we supposed to have a resolution?
Mayor, if I may, please?
Yep.
Page 44 in your packet.
Oh, there it is.
Thank you.
Oh, I just found it. Sorry. Thank you.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Support, Travis. Second for that, Cheyenne. Thank you. That was you, right? Smile. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I have motion to support. Any further discussion on that? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson,
Aye.
Counselor Mickleraha,
Aye.
Counselor Fountain,
Aye.
Counselor Lance,
Aye.
Counselor Baki,
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Vern. We'll move on to Larry's item. Council, this one we had to bring back just to clarify it, what we did in that, but I'll turn it over to Larry to just help us. But we're basically amending a previous resolution to clear up what we did. Good evening,
Thanks,
Larry.
Yep, exactly, Mayor, and thank you. It is a housekeeping item, and then we'll just in order. So then we'll move on to the second one, and that was for more so. I believe it was Councilor Fulton's request on the 2022. So if we just start with number one on page 45. First, could I just say thank you to Margaret again for this amazing 218-page packet, and then apologize on the same sentence that I'm one of the people that sends her like 6 memos to council from like 11:30 a.m. to 12:15 on council packet deadline. So thank you again, Margaret. And so in order, page 45, we're just clearly really simply asking for the council's approval to adopt the Baker Tilly study that was provided. That was the original 38-page document that you did by voice, but we just had the documentation wrong. And so we apologize for that. So just looking, just a clarification on the documentation, and then brought back to council for your approval that it's just an adoption of the utility rate study and that's just to adopt the study and to use as a guide for the next 5 years. And then we'll move on to the 22 rates.
Yeah, just to help clarify that a little bit, the council did do this already. We adopted. We were in the process of adopting the Baker Tilly rate study, and then question came up about the rates after this 2022 year, and it kind of got all jumbled up. We were okay with the rate study as a document, but we didn't want to commit past 2022. So what these two motions would do is just cleared it up that it was the council's intention to accept the Baker Tilly document as a roadmap to the future, but only accept the 2022 rates, which essentially is what we did. But we want to break it up and make it two motions, right, Larry? Is that what we want?
That's exactly right, Mayor. Thank you.
Mayor,
go ahead.
it was just that the documentation that we didn't have at the last council meeting was the resolution. So we're just, we're approving those resolutions. That's the piece that we were missing.
We're just amending the resolution to reflect what we actually did, which is to accept the Baker Tilly study as a document and then accept the 2022 rates. Approved 2022 rates. So council, that's what we'd be looking for a motion to do then, to fix that resolution to reflect that.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 1021-85. Amended.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Second, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson,
Aye.
Counselor Mickleraha, Counselor Fountain,
Aye.
Counselor Lance,
Aye.
Counselor Baki,
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. So Larry, we did everything on that one then, right? We can move on to the next item. We're good there? Did he disappear?
You're muted, Larry. There you go.
Sorry, Mayor. I believe we are good on number one. That we the rate study, so we then move on to number two.
Okay.
And honor of Councillor Fountain's request that we just set the 2022 utility rates per the rate study, and then we will adjust in the future and use that as a guide. So then on page, yes, we are looking to adopt in resolution 122197 to adopt the rate study fee for 2022 only.
Okay, Council, we're looking for a motion to adopt the rates that Baker Tilly put forward for 2020.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, April. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Adam. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikala Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, motion carries. Council, thank you for helping us get through those two. Basically, we're just trying to clear up what our intentions were on them. So, Larry, next item, job description for every equipment operator, truck driver, utility person.
Yes, thanks again, Mayor and councilors. We cleared that up. And moving on, then number 3, 4, and 5 are relatively easy. The job description in your packet for your review was already approved by council, and merely we're looking for to a point for your support there on page 50 is to request that we are able to post internally and externally, and then appoint a hiring committee place. Usually one member of the council and another department head or somebody else interested. Interested is always good. And then we usually leave it open for if the committee recommends another person from, say, the ASME union or other. So looking for your support to post internally and externally, and then to appoint a committee, hiring committee, please.
So Larry, let me ask kind of a weird question. The way we laid this out is really confusing.
It is, Mayor.
You don't need to do anything with the job description, right? You're just kind of included that, or what? Job description's okay, and it's the current job description?
Correct.
So we don't really need to do anything with that. What we need to do is get a hiring committee together and post internally and externally.
Correct. Yep. I crossed number 3 off on my list. It was almost informational, and I apologize for not that in the memo, and probably as to why one of the reasons why you had that information for us during the department head meeting, Mayor, to simplify this process. So yeah, you're right. I just wanted it in the council packet for your review if anyone had questions about the job description, and it is previously approved by council, and so your permission to post internally and externally, and to appoint a hiring committee. So.
Council, so first item then he's looking for is appoint a committee for hiring the heavy equipment operator truck driver person. Typically we would, we're going to talk about this later because the administrator wants to bring some things, possibly some future changes, but it doesn't hurt. And obviously we should follow our policy right now because this comes before that point. But typically, Larry, you got a recommendation on hiring committee yourself, a council person, another supervisor? What do we do there normally?
Yeah, correct, Mayor. I'm really looking for somebody that's interested. I don't want to ask if you're not, or if you're time obligated this part of the season for something else. I don't want to. So I'm really looking for somebody interested. If there's somebody on the call tonight, usually there's a counselor that's willing to do so.
Council, anybody on a council want to serve on the hiring committee for the heavy equipment operator?
Eileen was on the last one for the department heads. Somebody else, anyone is fine.
Larry, if nobody on the council wants to be part of that, I would be part of it. No problem there. One of the other department heads wanna, supervisors, Katie?
I mean, I can tell you I don't have a lot of experience in heavy equipment operators, but I'd be more than willing to sit and ask questions if you guys want me.
Sure, always great. You see a different picture than somebody else, so that's great. Eileen brought great things to the table the last committee she was on, so
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
thank you.
I would help out also if you needed me.
Council, motion to appoint that committee, the hiring heavy equipment operator hiring committee. Myself, librarian, Larry, put Travis as an alternate for in case for some reason I can't make the meeting. I think that's fair, ain't it, Travis?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Yeah, motion carries. Larry's next item, post internally and externally for that position, as we typically do. Look for that motion.
Correct, Mayor. Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis. Second.
Or
Thank you, Adam. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Last item, Larry, Excel Energy lease extension.
Yes, this was good news. We've already dedicated the space to Xcel Energy as they paid us $27,000 for a 6-month lease previous. Council approved and they wish to extend at the same rate. And that brings us to the 1st of July, which still gives us adequate time for the salt shed construction and some site prep of that future. That's the future public works site as it sits right now. So we're more than happy to wait on the sidelines and be able to generate the extra $13,500 for the city. So looking for your permission and approval so Stephanie can sign the agreement.
Council looking for motion to extend that agreement.
make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Support, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Questions, concerns? Larry, I just have one comment. I drove by that power line today. There's guys sitting up on the lines in little baskets working on the lines. They got a lot more guts than I got. I didn't know what those little baskets were. I went by there's all these little baskets. I'm going, what are those? I come back from Abbey, and there's a guy in each one of them, or a gal, I don't know. There was a worker anyway. And I'm like going, well, that don't look like a lot of fun today.
I know. And then you should have, if you didn't see him hanging from the side of the helicopter, that was amazing as well. So when they were stringing the rope through the pulleys, that was really cool. So yes, very cool.
That's different. There's nothing else. Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Thank you, Larry. We'll move on to Jim's items. Resolution 1221-98, City of Chisholm to act as sponsoring agency for Chisholm pedestrian bicycle bridge over Highway 169 project. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Stephanie and I are working on the final application for transportation alternative funding through Minnesota Department of Transportation. It's funding for fiscal year 2026, so we're still 4.5, 5 years out from that. But as part of that final application, we need to submit both this resolution and the next one. This one indicating their willingness to serve as a sponsoring agent for this project. And then the second one that'll follow is agreeing to maintain it. We passed these same resolutions a year ago when we made that application. That was not successful. But we would ask you to or recommend approval or adoption of both of these resolutions one at a time, please. Thank you.
Council comments? If not, we're looking for a motion to adopt resolution 1221-98. Part of that bridge project to get a bridge across Highway 169 over to our rec area.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Adam. Further discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Marty.
Do we have any clue as to what the local share of costs will be? Is there any rough indication of what local share is? Is it, 5%, 10%, 50%?
Basically, the eligible, excuse me, Marty, the eligible costs, which are basically the construction costs, no overhead costs or right-of-way acquisition to construction, and that this project is primarily construction anyway. It's an 80%, up to an 80% match, 20% local, and then the local has to provide that any overhead costs as well, which can probably be right in the neighborhood of another 20%. I did a projection last year. Our estimated cost in current dollars a year ago was just, I think, $1.68 million. I applied 5% growth factor over the next 5 years, and with overhead, that amounts to $2.7 million. And so our application is going to go in at 80% of the construction cost, which is right in the neighborhood of about $1.7 million. So we'll be looking for additional grants through IRRB or other funding sources for the remaining estimated $1 million, Marty.
Good question, Marty. Jim, what's the life on a project like this?
The longevity of the bridge?
Yeah, I mean, what do they typically set them up for?
I would guess it's probably at least 50 years, something of that nature. They're permanent structures. I would guess 40, 50 years would be a kind of a minimum life expectancy on a bridge like this. It's not going to have a whole lot in terms of heavy loadings on it because it is restricted to pedestrian and bicycles. No motorized vehicles are allowed on these facilities.
If you ever want to get a good laugh, you should talk to Marty Halverson, Councillor Halverson, about his bridge he put over the St. Louis River near Highway 53, and when he had the guy on the other side of the river. Council, we're looking for a motion to adopt resolution 1221-98 to start that application process.
We did that already.
Yeah. It was Travis and then
we just didn't vote on it. Okay. I'm sorry, I got lost again. So any other discussion, Council, before we take a vote on that, adopting that? Margaret?
Councillor Halverson.
Aye.
Councillor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Councillor Fountain. Councillor Fountain.
You just note that we lost her, Margaret.
Will do. Councillor Lance.
Aye.
Councillor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Ciampa.
I did lose for a second there, Mr. Mayor, and that is an aye. Thank you.
All right, thank you, April. Okay, so that motion carries. Second part, Council Resolution number 1221-99, we're looking to adopt, which is the resolution agreeing to maintain the bridge if it's built.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikala Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance. Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries to adopt that resolution. Thank you, Jim. We'll move
Thank you,
on.
Mayor.
Katie, resolution 1221-100, accept library donation. I'll let you just take it.
All right, looking to adopt a resolution to accept a monetary donation and have it earmarked for the Chisholm Library. Thank you, Larry.
So council adopt a resolution accepting $50 donation from Larry Pervenanzi, our recently retired staff. Is that April making the motion? Did I hear?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
All right, so we have a motion. Is we have a second for that?
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikala Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye, and thank you very much, Larry.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Stephanie, you're gonna take Eileen's items, right? She's gone. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
Did
go ahead,
we
Marty.
vote- Did we vote on both of Jim's resolutions or just on one?
No, we did both, I think. Yeah, the one we did both. Margaret, we did both, right?
That is correct, Mayor. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, the one I forgot to I had the motion and support and I forgot and I tried to start over. But we did get them both. All right, so we'll move on. Stephanie declared failed search for the accounting position. We might have a council person that was on there as well here. I don't know who was on that board, but I'll let you take it, Stephanie.
For, the committee has recommended that we call a failed search for the accountant position that we had posted and interviewed for. In the packet, Eileen does have one suggestion. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I guess we're looking to declare a failed search for the accounting position at this time.
So council, the two top candidates had dropped out of that race basically for that position, and the committee wants to declare a failed search. We're looking for a motion to do that, which would allow us to start over.
I'll make a motion to declare a failed search.
Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Second.
Thank you, Travis. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikala Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. The motion carries. Stephanie, on this next item, should we be doing obviously it says request to repost the accounting position, which is what we want to do, but we should be seating the hiring committee at the same time or reseating them or see if they still want to be on the hiring committee?
Yes. And then there is one revision that Eileen is recommending to change just that language of the 4 years of responsible office experience in accounting or bookkeeping with an emphasis in government accounting. The revised statement would be 4 years of accounting or bookkeeping experience with an emphasis in government accounting, just to make that change to the job description.
So we're looking for a motion. So who was on that committee? Do we know? April, were you on that committee, if you can hear me?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I was, and I would like to continue on that committee. Thank you.
Okay. So then it was her and Eileen. Do we know who else was on there?
Jess, Denise.
Jess, you're okay to continue there too?
I am.
Okay. So council, we're looking to repost the accounting position with the change that Stephanie outlined as part of Eileen's recommendation, and allow the current hiring committee that we were using to stay in that position. Would that be correct, Stephanie?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
So council, looking for that motion so we can get that job filled.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, April. Seconded by April. We'll call that. Further discussion?
Yeah, question, clarification. Is this just appointing the hiring committee
No, we're going to post for the job too.
with the revision?
Correct.
Okay, Steph, Eileen's not here, and I don't know if you can answer this or not, but does 4 years of experience, does college count toward that? So that a person recently out of college could apply?
So that, I believe, I don't have the job description up in front of me, but I can pull it up. I believe it is, yes, somebody out of college can apply, Travis, because that is part of the, just bear with me just for a moment here. I just have to pull it up.
Brian, you've worked with some of that stuff. Does that sound like a legitimate take on that? That if you're looking for 4 years of experience, that would include college?
Typically, that would include college unless it specifies otherwise, is my experience.
Okay.
And I'll defer to Stephanie.
Thank you.
Good. I want to make sure that young people have an opportunity to apply also. So that's good. Thank you.
Stephanie,
Yeah, so Travis, or Councilor Rocky, how it reads is 4 years of responsible office experience in accounting and bookkeeping with an emphasis in government accounting, associate degree in accounting, business, or related field. So the position is looking for somebody with experience and a degree.
Travis, you're okay with that?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, so we do have motion and support to adjust that job description, post for the position, and have the same hiring committee do the hiring. We have support for that. Council, any further discussion on that item? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Stephanie, approve additional security control services, CW Technology.
So we've been working with CW Technology, the city has since 2018, and a recommendation coming from them is to upgrade. Within the packet here, you can see Eileen has outlined the total monthly cost will be $450. But what that covers is our entire network, including all workstations and domains. We've already had that reflected in our 2022 budget, and it protects our data against cyber attacks and ransomware. We recommend that we move forward with CW's recommendation for the extra security controls.
Council, I'll look for motion to approve the additional security controls from CW Technology. The little I know about computer stuff, if your computer technology company tells you to do additional security, you should do additional security. So entertain that motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Cheyenne, second for that.
Second, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye, that motion carries. Council, this next item deals specifically with my personal business. I'll be turning the gavel over Councillor Lance, who is my council president, to take this item. We'll then just have Stephanie explain what's going on there. I'll be here to answer questions. Thank you. Adam, it's all yours.
Okay. So I'll bring Steph. Would you bring us up to speed? Life security and control security system upgrade.
Yes. It has been recommended that we have some upgrades that need to be done for our security system. It's on page, starts on page 93 of the packet. Recommendation is that the monthly fee from $20 will be up to $25. And then we'll also have a $200 charge for the arena, city hall, water treatment plant, and police department for upgrades.
Obviously, with everything going on in our economies, data is changing, technology is changing, so it seems like minimal cost of the upgrade. If there are no questions, I would look for a motion to approve the security upgrade. Do we have a resolution on this?
No, just approval.
The motion, Councillor Lance.
Motion by Councillor Paulton. Is there a second?
Support.
Support, Councillor Mikla-Raha. Any further discussion? Margaret, if you would, please.
Councillor Halverson.
Aye.
Councillor Mikla-Raha.
Aye.
Councillor Fountain.
Aye.
Councillor Lance.
Aye.
Councillor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa. Abstaining.
I abstain.
Okay. I'll hand the gavel back to Mayor Champa.
Thank you, Adam. You do a good job with that. You're gonna do good in February when I'm out of town. All right, so let's keep moving along here, Council. We're Stephanie's item resolution 1221-101, appoint Bruce Rudstrom as lead building maintenance parks. Steph?
I'm having a hard time with this huge packet. I'm sorry. I'm trying to flip back and forth. Yes, we recommend to appoint Bruce Redstrom as the lead building maintenance parks employee for the city of Chisholm. I'm looking for recommendations.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 1221-101.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Second for, thank you, Travis. Further discussion? I'm glad he likes the job. I'm glad he's working out, because you waste a lot of time if you've got to do it a few times, but it's how we do things here. Further discussion? Margaret?
Councillor Halverson.
Aye.
Councillor Mikla-Raha.
Aye.
Councillor Fountain.
Aye.
Councillor Lance.
Aye.
Councillor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, a motion carries. Next item, consulting engineer Jim Johnson contract. Stephanie?
Yes, the next item that I have on the agenda is my recommendation to extend Jim Johnson's contract 2 more years with a 3% increase, from $68 an hour to $70 an hour for the 2-year contract.
Council looking for a motion to extend our city engineer's contract for additional 2 years as outlined by the city administrator. Okay, a motion was made by April. Second for that.
Support, Marty.
Thank you, Marty. Further discussion? Just throw a little thing out there. Back in the day when I served as mayor, we served without a city engineer for quite a while, and we used our consulting engineers. But I can tell you, as a lot of things changed through life in 20 years, that position changed quite a bit too. Jim does a lot of, what are we going to do in 5 years and 10 years and things like that. And I think that position does need to stay filled. Whereas I served for quite a while just using consulting engineers. Matter of fact, Councillor Halverson was one of my consulting engineers back in the day. He used to come and give reports to me. So interesting. There's no other discussion. We'll take a vote. Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikala Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. That motion carries. Welcome back, Jim. All right, approve amended hiring policy. Stephanie, I'll let you just take that one.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. City staff has been working with Ravina Claxton, our HR consultant, for quite some time, looking at our current hiring policy and doing some revisions, meeting with multiple people and department heads to make sure that we have this policy in place to move forward for the best interest of the city. In your packet, you can see the document that was created from all of those meetings. And I recommend that we do move forward. I believe all staff has had the opportunity to provide input into this hiring policy. I do want to touch on, I know, Mayor, you had said, there is one thing that, as far as the hiring committees go, and it's outlined in the packet at kind of a tiered approach of what the hiring committees could look like, which would be, so if it's administration, if it's the city administrator position, it would be full council with the recommendation of hiring an outside organization to assist with that. If it's a department head that's being hired, it would be the city administrator that would chair it with council support, and then also any additional staff that would make sense for that position. And then if it's positions at the next level under the department heads, the recommendation would be that the department head would chair those committees, and council does not need to sit on those committees unless desired. So that's a recommendation for hiring committees within this packet, unless somebody does not agree with that.
Steph, could you add a little bit more to that? There's one more part of that too, and that was that we were incurring some overtime, mainly because we're trying to coordinate with council people on some of these lower tier jobs that we may not need to do that. It might be better because it saves us overtime and things with staff.
There was some conflicting schedule challenges when it came to scheduling some of the interviews when we had everybody on all of the hiring committees. So it did create overtime for some of our staff to have night interviews when we had everybody included in the hiring committees. So that was taken into consideration when we were looking at creating this hiring policy. And also there's multiple, excuse me.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that there's multiple other aspects of this, and Ravina's done a really good job to make sure the legalities are all present where they should be within this hiring policy.
Also comments, I certainly don't have any concerns about it. It's brought forward by somebody that does this for a living. So I would certainly be okay with amending this hiring policy. And I'd look for that motion if there is nothing.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Support.
Thank you. Adam, further discussion, council? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikala Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Can that motion carries? Approved comprehensive plan. Councillor Halverson did bring forward some concerns earlier. I didn't completely follow them, so we should talk about it. If we need to bring it back at a next meeting or something, I don't have a problem with that either. I didn't really completely understand about the footnotes. So, Stephanie, do we not, some of the things they talked about during their presentation are not in here right now? Is that correct?
My understanding, Mayor, the pieces that were missing was the notes from the meetings that they had. I was kind of unsure also, but I believe that's what Julia had said, that's the pieces that are missing.
So, but they normally wouldn't be in here, right? They're just the notes.
Correct. Yeah, they're not part of the comp plan. They would be the notes from the meetings that they've had.
And the yellow stuff, for the most part, the yellow stuff is the result of those notes? I'm just trying to get it.
So the yellow stuff was what was changed from our last meeting that we had for the working session. So the notes would be from all the information that they gathered from any meeting that they had with any resident or committee member. The other thing that I do want to state, so we do have to bring forth the resolution at our next council meeting. So if you would prefer, if the council prefers, I can get all of the information from Julia or Gabby, bring it all forward for the next council meeting with the resolution. We can prove everything at that time. Because we do have to address it at the next meetings also.
Councillor Halverson, is there something we need to do different here so we're ready for the next one? I think the part that we're missing here is the notes, but I don't think they were ever intended to be in here. I think they redrafted the comprehensive plan based on their notes they took at our working session. I think that's the way I understand. I don't know if that's correct or not, but I'll let you share any concerns you have so we can try to get this right for the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, no, when they presented here earlier, they said there's going to be appendices to this document, which I don't ever remember seeing appendices. And yeah, maybe that's meeting notes. I don't know exactly what it's all going to be. And my concern is that we haven't been able to review a complete document if that's the case. And I feel that we should have the complete document in front of us to review. That's just good policy and good practice. I'm against approving something that I haven't read. So that's my concern. Again, I don't know what's in the appendices, how important they are, and it's not really the point. It's just the point that we don't have a complete document at this point. So if we could get the absolute complete document and get it in the order it's going to be presented, because I had a concern. I've always been confused as to why the introduction is always at the end of the document when I've been reading it. So if they could get us what they consider final draft with everything in it, then I think we can approve it. I like the changes in the language that they put in. I think it covers what we discussed, and I think it makes it pretty clear that the city's going to stay in control of this, and we're going to be watching everything very carefully and approving things as we see fit. So, yeah, if we get the resolution and the complete document, I think we're good to go at the next meeting.
So Stephanie, when Marty mentioned the word appendices, she did say, yeah, the appendices aren't in here. So I don't even know, I don't really know completely what that is, but that's what we have to clarify that definitely, if that's supposed to be in here or what. And if it is, then we'll have to get it in there so we have the complete document. We'll bring it back with the resolution. Are there any other things, Council, that you have concerns on here that we should be talking about tonight so we have the right document when Stephanie talks to the SC group before our next meeting? This thing literally just keeps going and going, hey?
Steph, are you gonna, are you, and I think this is what Marty's asking for too, you're gonna ask them for the actual final document that they're going to distribute, and that's what we're gonna be getting from you, from them. So front cover to back cover, the complete document, not just notes. Is that accurate?
Yes. I don't know if it will change from the current, I mean, the appendices aren't in there, but I don't think the plan will change from what we currently have.
Oh, no, but I mean, there's not even a front cover on this thing. Like, I mean, a complete document, I want the front cover on it, I want the back cover on it, I want the whole document so that if I can walk through it page by page and say, yep, this is our final document. Like, that's what we should be getting at.
Okay.
Right, Marty? Is that what you're, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, to me, it still looks really like a rough draft. And I don't want to be approving a rough draft. I mean, it should be a nice final. If it was the old days, they'd be handing us a nice bound paper report, like Travis said, with a cover on the front and back, full table of contents, everything in order, all appendices. So it's a complete book. And I don't know, I think in the digital age, it's too easy to just throw PDF files out there and say, well, here it is. And I said, well, no, that's not sufficient. We need a formal document.
Yeah, I would like that. But then I do have a follow-up question for Mandy, if she's still on here.
I'm on, Travis.
Okay, Mandy, just a clarification, the special use permit that I talked to you about earlier, that still has to come to council for final approval, right?
Yes, the planning commission is complete advisory to the city council. So anything that the planning commission approves, it goes for final approval to the council.
Okay, just wanted to clarify. That's all I have. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, Mandy, I want to ask you a question too. Same question, a little bit more in depth, because I'm glad he asked that question, because I was actually thinking that when you brought it up. So they suggest in the notes in here that one of our items is to rezone that area with the correct overlay in it. I think they used the word rezone it. We should rezone it recreational and whatever, right?
Well, so the main zoning would remain mining with an overlay district over it, with the opportunity to apply for a conditional use permit there.
Okay, so my question is, that would still be a conditional use permit, even though it's got the overlay on it that actually allows it?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. It's just, semantics or whatever the word is. But it's just, I was just trying to get the terminology right. So it would still be conditional use because it's zoned different and it just has the overlay.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Just one more clarification. I know Councilor Lance brought this up at the working session, but assuming we grandfather in the MDC and the St. Louis County Fair, that is just as is, correct? So if any improvements or any additions on MDC campus would still have to follow the permitting policy?
Yes, that is true. Anything currently there will be grandfathered in, and then anything new will have to comply with the new zoning ordinance overlay.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that?
Sure.
If they make improvements on their current structure, just like new roof, stuff like that, infrastructure improvements, does that just go through building?
Yeah, that would just go
permit?
through
Okay.
a building permit process. Any new structure would go through the conditional use permit.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so we're
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. But we're going to be approving this. We're going to be grandfathering them in as is. So if they were to knock out half of their existing building, or gut half of it and put up a new restaurant that would compete with private, that would have to come to planning zoning. Correct, Mandy?
If it is a new building, yes. If it is part of an existing building, no. If that makes any sense. If they're going to add a restaurant into the existing Minnesota Discovery Center, that would be part of that use in that building.
But it's a new use. So shouldn't that have to come to planning and zoning?
Well, I don't see it as a new building. Attorney Lindsay, what would you say regarding that?
Thank you, Mayor, if I may. Councilor Lance, I think, asked a good question because when we're talking about building permits and the like, I think Ms. Galley is correct. However, if we're talking about zoning overall, a lot of times we talk about use, and when you grandfather in a use, part of what's grandfathered in is the scope of the use. And so you can't greatly expand or fundamentally change what the scope of the use is without applying for a new conditional use permit if it's not a use that's generally permitted within that zone. And so what gets grandfathered in are the uses that exist, and there can be some changes, some slight modifications within those uses. But if the complete use changes, then I think they would need to apply for a conditional use permit.
Yes, I would agree with Attorney Lindsay on that.
So Attorney Lindsay, are you confident that if we got notice that they decided they're getting out of the museum business and they were opening a casino up there, run by our friends, the Native Americans, or they were going to turn it into a big shopping center or something like that, that we would be able to be involved in that process and make the final decision?
Thank you, Mayor. I am. If they're fundamentally changing the nature of what they're doing, then the city would have the opportunity to get involved and they would have to apply for the appropriate permits if the use contemplated wasn't one allowed in that zone.
Okay. Adam, did you get enough answered there?
It almost kind of circled around there because, they're already allowed to have, and they might, if they expand or they model their area to bring in private development, that's good. That's good for the city. And even if they have more amenities there themselves, that's also good for, the citizens. But, if they're running it, it's not a taxable item. They don't pay property tax. If they are already allowed to have a restaurant in there, then if they decide to get out of the museum business and put a new restaurant, obviously that's already allowed. So then that circles back to they could actually do that. And I think that's kind of what we need to be. I don't know, hindering is the right word, but we need to keeping it in check that we're not allowing MDC to expand and grow and compete with private business when they're not paying property tax that's helping the citizens of Chisholm. So I think we need to be very cognizant of that and very aware that that's a very real possibility.
Mayor, if I may offer just a short comment, I may be able to address Councilor Lance's concern.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. So the requirement that they would seek an additional permit or a conditional use permit would exist even if the use already exists there, if there's a significant change or expansion. So, for example, if they have a small food service counter that technically would be a food service operation, and they want to remodel or renovate part of their building to expand the use to make it much larger, to add additional kitchen space and to add, a new feature of sit-down dining, that I think would be considered a substantially different use, and they would have to come in and apply for the permit. And so really what we're grandfathering in is the use as it exists today. If they make significant changes to that, my opinion is that they would have to come back to the city and seek appropriate permitting.
Excellent. Thank you.
I don't want to sound like I'm against things they're doing up there either. However, we did have exactly what we're talking about happen up there. And I think it's a great thing. I'm not against it at all, but you did have a private company come in there and rent space to run a bike shop. I'm happy for them. I'm glad. It's a good thing there too. However, it gets it into kind of that gray area we're talking about, because what else could have been there, what if somebody else wants to put a bike shop up there? They're like, why do they get a bike shop up there and we don't, So, we, like I said, all the concerns are certainly we have to make sure we keep the little bit of leverage we have there with the existing facilities. So we'll bring this back on the next meeting with the resolution as complete of a document as we can get by then. If it takes longer, it will have to take longer. we'll see what they say. Stephanie, can you give the council an update if you get any immediate feedback?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we'll bring that one back, and we'll try to address all these concerns. Next item, appoint committee for sports complex council. As we're all aware, we had a meeting with the school. Probably a lot of people in the community haven't heard this yet, but the school is asking to take ownership of some of our facilities. They feel that they can do a better job maintaining them because there's monies that the school can get if they own them, as opposed to leasing them from the city, specifically the football field and some of the baseball fields up there. You know, in our meeting, I promised them that I would at least bring this to the council. And if the council is agreement, we should look at starting that discussion, see where it goes. I certainly, you know, I want to talk about it. What they're asking makes sense to me. So, Stephanie, you got anything else to add there? That's about the gist of it.
I don't have anything to add, Mayor.
So, you know, council, the school is asking us to basically seat a 3-member committee. We do have a committee. I think Travis and Adam are on that from a council standpoint. You know, Tammy, with her pending retirement in May, you know, another person that's on that committee, I didn't talk to about it, and I don't know if he's still on a call or not, Larry. But my thought is Larry's really good at detail, and he asks the hard questions where they need to be, when they need to be asked. So I certainly, I would look to Larry as a third person. They also have the superintendent sit in on their committee as a, like the expert liaison, like we probably would have Stephanie do that for us if the council wants to do it. I think we should at least look into it. Larry, how do you feel about that? I know I think you're on that committee anyway.
Yeah, I agree, Mayor, and I'm willing. Thank you.
So, council thoughts? I think most of you were in the meeting. I think Adam was at home, but he was listening in.
Mr. Mayor, I would like to stay on that committee just because of my interest in the baseball fields complexes, to make sure that my softball league doesn't take a hit here.
Yeah, and you know, we put this committee together, we got to make sure the council gets all their concerns. I know Councillor Halverson brought one up that night about, well, we really got to figure out what things are worth, you know, because we also brought up the fact that the police park, for lack of a better term, is actually the ownership of the school, and we'd be having that conversation kind of parallel to this whole thing. So things like appraisals and stuff are going to be really important to this discussion. I would think the committee would feel that way as well. So I think it's a good idea to start the discussion. I don't think it can hurt. We'll see where it goes. We'll try to address the concerns. Obviously, we have city leagues and stuff that use those facilities. We have summer rec programs that use those facilities. And it really has to continue to be a two-way street in order for this to work anyway. So with that said, I would look to seat a committee of our current 2 council people. Adam, are you okay with being on there as well? I didn't ask you.
Yes, I am.
So unless there's concerns from the council, I'd look to seat our 2 council representatives and our public works supervisor, who's been on the committee as well, with Stephanie serving as our administrator, to kind of sit across the table from the superintendent and these things. So look for that motion to start the talks and see where they go.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Marty. there a second for that?
Second.
Thank you, April. You're a lot clearer. You must have made it home.
I did, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Good. We're happy for that. Further discussion, council? We'll leave it up to the four of you to figure out how you start those meetings. So, Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikla Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Good, motion carries. Stephanie, this next item is going to end up being part of a bigger thing, I think, but schedule a meeting with Town of Balkan. I'll just let you had some talks with Brad out there, so.
I did speak to Brad this week about scheduling that meeting, and they sounded pretty open if we wanted to give a recommendation for a time. Their meetings are on Tuesday, opposite week of ours. So I don't know if we want to go ahead and schedule that meeting, or if we wanted to do the workings or the special meeting and combine this meeting with them.
Council, let me just jump ahead and then I'll jump back. My second item, I'd like to have just a little bit further discussion about the budget. I was hoping to do. Nobody's going to feel bad for me right now. I can tell you that. I'm going to Florida on Friday for just a long weekend, be back on Tuesday night. I was hoping to meet with staff on Wednesday when I get back and just talk a little bit about their numbers. My concern is leaving that 15,000 such a small number when we got so many things going on. So I was hoping to have a real meeting where we can approve the budget next week. And I think Stephanie was hoping to stack this on that Wednesday meeting. Were you, Stephanie? So she's looking to hold that meeting with Balkan next Wednesday, if we can arrange it. I think is what we're hoping to do. Well, there was Jess was going to be interviewing some additional people too. So.
Yep, so it would be the joint meeting with Vulcan, EMT hiring, and the budget meeting.
Did we get something out on the EMT thing? That she has additional people, or did you send something out to them? That was one of the memos. Okay.
Yes,
I guess that was the memo you sent out today.
Yeah, so today I sent it.
Like I said, I don't want to jump ahead. I want to tell you what really some of the things I found out, council, about the budget and why I would like to talk about it further. But I'd like to set a special meeting for next Wednesday, 5:30, 6 o'clock. I'm hoping the council can make it.
Sorry, Mayor. Vulcan can't meet before 6 o'clock, so I don't know what time if you wanted to meet with them first.
How about we would do it at 6 o'clock? Would we be looking at in person? We'll go sit somewhere. There's only going to be a few of us.
Do it at the senior center instead of in Balkan the same?
Yeah, I think that would be, it's kind of weird if we conduct business out there, The thought was we meet with them, we talk about the contract for ambulance, fire. I think our joint garbage thing is in there. Anyway, what we do with them jointly and then cut it off and just discuss the items. Like you said, Jess is going to has some additional interviews, so she's going to be looking at hiring people possibly. And like I said, I think we should approve the budget too. So I'd be looking at having that meeting.
15th works for me.
That's okay. When you guys make motion, 6 o'clock on the 15th, we'll start with Balkan.
I'll make a motion that we have a special meeting 15th of December at the senior center with Balkan. All right, is this just for the meeting with Balkan?
Balkan, and then we'll final approval on the budget. And if she does find candidates to hire for the ambulance service, we take that item up as well.
And those items there.
Support.
So we have motion support, further discussion.
Mr. Mayor, I'd prefer to be on, if it's possible, to be there on Zoom, if that's all right with you.
I can FaceTime you.
That would be great, just because I got a really low immune system currently. Thank you.
Brian, Brian, we are going to have to take some action tonight. We have some legal. Obviously, if she can't vote, that's concerning. Thoughts on where we got to pipe somebody in?
There, Mayor, there is a way to do it. I'll put together a quick memo and send it over to Stephanie. There's some requirements that have to be met about being able to hear and participate. Let me double check the requirements and I'll get a memo over to Stephanie.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate that. And Attorney Lindsay.
Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikla.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Last item under Stephanie is the item we added having to do with the Bridge of Peace, renamed for Senator David Tomasoni while maintaining the Bridge of Peace name as well. You all received a memo from Stephanie. Representative Liz Lagarde reached out to the city, thinks the world of Senator Tomasoni and the help he's given him in the legislature to help him work down there and reach across the aisle, which Senator Tomasoni is great at. Over his years of serving as, in his current capacity, he's brought tons of money into this area and done things for up here. So when it was brought to me, I believe we need to do something for David. Originally, they asked about the main street. That's a tough one. I'd actually asked the attorney and said, so could you rename the main street and just keep it as Lake Street, but have like an overlay of Senator Tomasoni Parkway or something. And but since that memo went out, an individual in our town, I know has reached out to all of you because she asked me if I thought it was okay, and I said, well, you can do that. You're a citizen here, and I know she has reached out to all of you, and I know that you did want to do something special for David, but it sounds like the lean was more towards doing something like renaming the Bridge of Peace for David Tomasoni. I can tell you that I'm 100% in favor of that, and I can tell you that the people that put that Bridge of Peace together, Vita Panikovar, former Mayor Marge Peterson, were really big on the flags and that bridge. And having known both of them very well, one of them being my auntie, I can tell you they would approve as well. Pretty confident in that. So,
Mr. Mayor, I would like to make that motion to make this possible for Mr. David Tomasoni. Tomasonis are near and dear to my heart. I grew up with their children, and I feel this is a great opportunity for our community to honor him. Thank you.
So with that motion, I'll ask for a second, and then I'll tell you what we're actually doing with that motion. Could I get a second for that, please? What we actually have to do to move this forward.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. So what the attorney informed us that this would require an ordinance change to rename that area town. So we would have to bring it back for first reading as an ordinance change. Brian, anything you want to chime in at that? So I believe we'd have to bring it back as a first reading of an ordinance, like at our next meeting. And in a subsequent meeting, we would have to bring it back as a, for a final reading and a vote, basically. Would that be
That's correct? That's correct, Mayor. The way that it would operate in practice is we would prepare a written ordinance that would amend or change the name of that area. That would be included in a packet, a council packet, so that the public would have it available. They would be able to review it. Then at the meeting that agenda packet was for, you would have an introduction and first reading. Then at the following meeting, you would put it into the packet again, and you would have a second reading and vote.
Thank you, Brian. Scones, we have a motion and support. I believe this is a beautiful thing to do for David, for all he's done for our area. If there's any other comments, Council?
Just a quick comment. I do, obviously, this is a no-brainer, but I did talk to Shelley, and one thing I recommended to her, and I don't know who she was going to approach, whether it be the city or the beautification committee, downtown revitalization, but I recommend that we do some sort of arch over the road with the name over it, so that it's very significant, as he was to us. So
good. Yeah, and we can take that up as subsequent action, of course. Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye, and thank you to the group who put this together.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Good. Beautiful. That motion passes. That's a great thing we just did. All right. Stephanie's done. Resolution 1221-102. Appoint authorized signer. I believe it says we want to put Stephanie on there, if I recall from reading this 9,000-page document. Recommend adoption of resolution 1221-102 to add Administrator Stephanie Scrub as an authorized signer for the Raymond James Investments.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Absent. Thank you. April 2nd.
Support.
Thank you, Adam. Further discussion? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Michelaraha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Vaki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, the motion carries. So Council, just this item, we kind of took it up already for the budget working session. I just want to tell you what I'm thinking out loud, okay? There's a couple of things that concern me a little bit. The one is, earlier tonight, we had our truth in taxation hearing, and a lot of the people in the community, with Zoom and everything, it's really hard to come to council meetings, and it's hard to figure out how to get on these meetings, and some people aren't able to get on these meetings. And so I think it's just a healthy thing to do, to just have the truth in taxation, at least give a week or so for people to grab us on the street to give us a piece of their mind about the budget and levy. So I think that's a good thing. So that's one of the reasons. But as I was kind of thinking about that, I started asking a few questions, and I'm looking. I keep coming back to this, that we have things we really absolutely need to do. We have a couple we don't know about yet, being the public safety building, the public works storage building. We're trying to finalize what those are going to end up looking like. But, the Fifth Street South project at $500,000, chip seal and crack seal, and then the street and alley mill and overlay. And I know Travis has legislation that we passed basically to use general fund money for that. But just looking at the big picture, I look at this $15,181.04 that we have left, and I thought, I should at least sit down with each department head and just say, so is there anything in your budget where you you have 1,000 in there, but like you only expect to spend $700, you know? And I don't mean to scrutinize it that bad. I think it would be healthy for us to know as we finally approved a budget. And then one other thing came up today. I actually had a conversation with Eileen about this, and I actually convinced her of this. And this is going to be really hard to follow, but I want to try to explain it to you. So let me give you an example, and there may be more examples like this. One other one that jumps out with me or at me is possibly the police department's budget, but let me put that aside. But I want to talk specifically about a project that the library has in the budget for this year, and it was this Tuck Point project where she got a big grant, and we budgeted $100,000 in 2021. Okay, so follow me on that. There's $100,000 there. Well, the project is not going to get done in 2021. However, we approved a budget in Levy with that $100,000 in it. Okay, if we get to the end of the year and we just roll that back into the budget, which our current budget reflects us just rolling it back into the budget, okay, and rebudgeting it, okay? Well, if you think about it, if you really give some thought to that, that's not exactly correct what we're doing, because we looked at our revenues. We based our budget on spending that $100,000 last year, okay? And with this budget we have right here, and Katie has it in the budget because she wants to do the project next year. So it's in there again. So as a taxpayer, I would say, what's this $100,000 in this library budget? Well, it's to do that project. Well, didn't we give you $100,000 last year? Where's that money? Well, it's in the bank. So there's some things that should absolutely be rolled over. And if we just, that one specifically, you roll that into here, we now have, don't quote me on this because I don't know if it was exactly, we now have $115,000 towards our projects, okay? I look at the police department budget. Vern's been down a couple officers for the most part all year, okay? That's probably a substantial amount of money, but in our budget, we told the city that we budgeted last year, where is it? $1,803,604. Well, if we don't spend that for police protection, it just feels like it should stay in police protection and offset the budget. You know what? It might be $150,000. You know, I mean, if it's $1,000 here and there that somebody was under budget, I can see that. But I mean, these big numbers, you look at, if we can just look at a couple of those things, I think we just make that number bigger, and we actually do grow. We grow our money a little bit. You know, we're not gonna increase the size of the budget. I just think, and I could have just let it go, and we could look at the rollover at a later date. But all I want to do, I just want to, you know, at that budget meeting, just bring it forward and say, hey, so here's some money that realistically should be carried forward. So at least we know, even if we approve it this way, that we at a later date we bring it up again. So just a little bit more information, and we'll be ready to approve this budget. Like I said, it could be approved like that, but I think it just to know there's some other money out there, and there truly is, because that $100,000 should carry for sure, which gives us, you know, it covers our crack ceiling right off the bat, right? So part of one of these projects. So I still want to look into this. I mentioned this previous, that every other city that I've looked into, it's common practice that the Public Utilities Commission pays for the water and sewer on these complete reconstruction projects. It's water and sewer. And we don't do that. And I don't know what Jim said it was about 30% or 35% of that project is the water and sewer. I think we should look at that, because that's our money that should be in the public utilities budget. That cuts into the money this council gets to spend for their part of the project, you know. And there's another part to that. When you do a complete reconstruction, you assess and you get back, say, 15% or whatever you get back. Well, the budget in Levy pays, minus grants, pays the rest of the project. If you got no grants, it could be the other 85%. And that's paid by basically taxpayers. Well, if their complete reconstruction is done in front of a nonprofit, they're not paying for any of it other than maybe the assessment, okay? Whereas if it's done with the utilities, that 35% is recovered through utility rates, you also catch the nonprofits in that. And that's only fair. It's their water and sewer too. So you move it from property tax paying for that water and sewer to rates paying it. Nick Dragasich, a few of you probably know him. He was in some of our meetings talking because he's part of Baker Tilly. But he said what you do is you come up with a few projects and you do a 20-year bond or whatever it is, and you spread that out so the rate increases for these projects is pretty small. And eventually, after 20 years, you kind of have a revolving fund of your rates aren't really going up because of it. So there's a lot to look at, but I just wanted to have the meeting. I want to just try to work with the staff a little bit more, bring just little cleaner numbers for us, and let's approve the budget next week. So a lot of information there. That's all I was hoping to do with it. But there are some real things I think we should talk about, true carryovers that'll make our budget look better. So anything else on that before we do this last item, Council? It's actually not very late considering what's here. So the last thing, reorganizational meeting, January 4th, 2021. Per city charter, we have to hold it first Monday in January, I believe that is. Or I lost the argument, first Tuesday in January. So we got to hold that meeting. I don't think the time matters. Prime time don't matter, right? We can hold first meeting in January, or first Tuesday in January at 5:30. Council.
I'll make that motion.
Look for that. Thank you, Adam. Second for that.
Support.
Thank you, Travis. Further discussion, Council? Margaret?
Counselor Halverson.
Aye.
Counselor Mikola Raha.
Aye.
Counselor Fountain.
Aye.
Counselor Lance.
Aye.
Counselor Baki.
Aye.
Mayor Champa.
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. Council, if there's nothing else, we'll look for motion to adjourn.
Mr. Mayor, that was 5:30 PM on the 4th.
Correct.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Travis. Second.
Second.
Thank you, April. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? All right, this meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a good evening. We'll see you next week, if not sooner.
Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Take care.